Beneath the golden sun of ancient Egypt, a child was born into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a lineage of Greek rulers in a land of pharaohs. Her name was Cleopatra VII, and though her blood was Macedonian, her heart beat with the rhythm of the Nile. Cleopatra's family was one of intrigue, ambition, and blood. The throne was a dangerous prize, and siblings were often rivals. From a young age, Cleopatra learned the art of survival, through wit, diplomacy, and charm. At just 18 years old, Cleopatra ascended the throne alongside her younger brother, Ptolemy III. But Egypt was no place for shared rule. What followed was a brutal power struggle that would shape the fate of an empire. Forced into exile by court conspirators, Cleopatra did not flee in defeat. Instead, she set her sights on an ally powerful enough to restore her to power, Julius Caesar, conqueror of Gaul and master of Rome. Legend says she smuggled herself into Caesar's palace wrapped in a carpet. When unrolled before him, she did not plead. She dazzled. Her beauty was matched only by her intellect, her ambition burning beneath layers of silk. Julius Caesar was captivated. She spoke 9 languages, understood politics like a seasoned ruler, and held the fate of Egypt in her gaze. Their alliance became intimate, politically and personally. Together, Cleopatra and Caesar fought to reclaim her throne. The Alexandrian War raged through Egypt, ending in victory. Ptolemy III drowned in the Nile, and Cleopatra was restored, now as pharaoh in her own right. Cleopatra styled herself as the goddess Isis, divine mother and ruler. To her people, she was more than queen. She was Egypt incarnate. Her image was carved in temples, her name sung along the riverbanks. Cleopatra bore Caesar a son, Caesarion, Little Caesar. She dreamed of a new dynasty, one that could unite the old power of Egypt with the rising force of Rome. When she visited Rome, Cleopatra did not hide in the shadows. She paraded as a queen, proud and foreign. Romans were awed and frightened. A woman with power and ambition was dangerous, especially one loved by Caesar. Then disaster struck. On the Ides of March, 44 BCE, Julius Caesar was assassinated. Cleopatra, still in Rome, was suddenly alone in a hostile city. She returned to Egypt, her son in tow, and her dreams in pieces. But Rome had more players. Mark Antony, one of Caesar's trusted generals, now held sway in the east. Cleopatra saw an opportunity, and he saw a queen who could offer him wealth, ships, and an empire. She met Antony in Tarsus, arriving on a gilded barge, dressed as Aphrodite. Music played. Perfume filled the air. Antony was enchanted. Cleopatra had won again, not with war, but with spectacle. Their affair became legendary. More than lovers, they were allies. Cleopatra gave Antony the riches and legions he craved. He gave her legitimacy and protection. Together, they imagined a new empire. Cleopatra bore Antony 3 children. They ruled from Alexandria like gods, celebrating Egyptian traditions while forging a new vision, a union of East and West. Back in Rome, Octavian, Caesar's heir, saw danger. Cleopatra was no longer a foreign queen. She was a threat to Rome's supremacy. Propaganda painted her as a temptress, seducing Roman virtue into decay. War was inevitable. Octavian marched against Antony and Cleopatra. The stage was set for one of the most fateful naval battles in history, the Battle of Actium. In 31 BCE, the fleets clashed. Cleopatra and Antony's forces were outmaneuvered. Their ships burned. The dream of an Eastern empire sank beneath the waves. Defeated, they fled to Alexandria. There, in the dying light of their reign, they prepared for the end. Antony drank heavily. Cleopatra plotted. Could she negotiate with Octavian? Could Caesarion survive? When Antony heard false news of Cleopatra's death, he fell on his sword. Wounded, he was brought to her, dying in her arms. Their story echoed the tragedies of myth. Cleopatra, now truly alone, faced her conqueror. Octavian arrived in Egypt. She tried to charm him, as she had done with Caesar and Antony. But Octavian was steel. He wanted submission. He planned to parade her in chains through Rome. Cleopatra refused. A queen of Egypt would not become a Roman prize. She chose death, by snakebite or poison, none can say for sure. Draped in royal robes, she died as she lived. Defiant, mysterious, unforgettable. With Cleopatra's death, the Ptolemaic dynasty ended. Egypt became a Roman province. The age of pharaohs was over. Caesarion, her son with Caesar, was captured and executed. Octavian declared, "Two Caesars are one too many." The last blood of Cleopatra vanished. Her children with Antony were taken to Rome. One daughter, Cleopatra Selene, would become queen of Mauritania, her mother's ambition echoing far from the Nile. Cleopatra became myth. Roman poets painted her as a seductress. Later historians debated her virtue, her power, her love. But the truth lay somewhere deeper, beneath the dust of dynasties. She was not merely beautiful. She was brilliant, a ruler, a speaker, a strategist. She held her own against the greatest empire on earth for decades. Her tomb has never been found. Her final resting place remains hidden, as if Egypt herself keeps her last secret safe beneath the sands. Centuries have passed, yet Cleopatra lives, in art, in film, in legend. She was the last pharaoh, but her legacy is eternal. And still, we wonder, who was she really? A lover, a leader, or a legend beyond truth?